2000, great pull. 2500 now, it really pulls. It really pulls. So hey folks, how are you doing? You can see it. We have a new car, the Audi S6 TDI Avant, and in this video I would like to talk a bit about the first experiences we had within the first week and the first 1000 kilometers after driving this car, and of course we will have a short sound clip and also some driving scenes later on. I think the main debate is about, is it really a true S car or is it not only an A6 competition right here? You can see it in the front, the aluminum grille, the S badges, the very wide and low front bumper that you can see a lot more once it's aluminum than once it's black. Really shows from the outside it is an S model, and also from the side profile you can see the nice aluminum mirrors here, some red brake calipers, and once you come to the back, the quad exhausts, which are very usual for the S models. I will not really talk about the fake exhaust part because I think there has been so much debate about it. I think we have to, let's say, agree that we all don't like it. I also don't like that this is a fake exhaust, but in the end it didn't influence our purchasing decision of this car too much, because you can see it still looks good from a meter away. Nobody will realize more or less it's fake exhaust there, or most of the people at least who are seeing the car on the road won't realize it. And I think in the end it's important that it looks good and the rest of the car drives very well. I'm a bit sorry that I have to show you the car with the winter tires on. Those are 20-inch and not the original 21-inch tires that this car has been delivered on. Those are gray ones with some silver, but as the time is still winter here, we had to put them on, and of course we will show you the full beauty and summer tires on Instagram photos, but also of course within the next YouTube videos that we are doing. I guess you all agree that this color on the car looks amazing. We have chosen this Nivara Blue, and of course you know it, we are big fans of the aluminum, specifically for the S models and also some RS models, and that's why I think it's a very good contrast looking at this aluminum parts here and also this deep Nivara Blue color, which comes across in summer light even better than what you would show now here in the winter light. Let's jump inside and give you a glimpse at the interior that we have chosen for this car. First thing that you can see here is not only that nice red leather that you get from the factory with that contrast stitching, but also a very special steering wheel that we have chosen, because this is the Audi exclusive steering wheel that you can get. And they called me actually and asked me, what color do you want? And I said, oh, I can choose the color. That's very interesting, and that's the reason why I chose the same red leather as the seats are having here, and of course also, if you can see the details, the same stitching color that you can see, which we have here on those seats as well. So I think they made a very good job. It looks like it could come directly from the factory. Of course also this very nice gear lever with that Alcantara finish on it fits very well to the matte and dark wood that we have chosen in this car. I also like that those side panels are here with the stitching and also the color contrast. They are in the same leather than the rest of the cars. I think for the infotainment system I don't have to talk through any major stuff because that's very similar to any other A6. Something that I realized which is very nice is that the Quattro sign is illuminated. Might see that later on once we're driving at some darker light. And yeah, inside it's very special also once you look outside and see those aluminum mirrors, which I really like. Something that shows you're sitting in a special S car rather than a normal car. Yeah, I think without further talking we get to the driving part where I can explain you more about the engine and how I like it after the first days, and also get a glimpse at the sound. While we're sitting in here you can also see that we have the nice Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is a huge step upwards from the other sound systems that you can get, and is the advanced sound system. Very expensive, but I still would say once you are somebody that really needs the best sound always, this is the system that you should go for. some outside sound footage. It got a bit dark outside, but this is not a bad thing once we're driving now, because you can now enjoy the illuminated interior. It will even be better once it's really dark, but you can already see here very nicely that the Quattro sign is illuminated, and I have chosen, as always, this kind of purple light. Of course, you can choose all different colors that you would like to have. So let's set off here. First thing that you can realize is once we're turning around on the street, the turning radius of the four-wheel steering is simply amazing. I mean, the A8 already has it, and we know how good it is, but that, let's say, shorter wheelbase of the A6 plus the four-wheel steering makes it astonishing how easy you can turn and drive the car within the city. The good parts really about this car, and I can clearly start with it, is the steering. We have chosen the dynamic steering, and the dynamic steering helps you a lot once you're driving from a dynamic perspective, of course, fast on country roads and something like that on Autobahn, but it also helps you in town and in city. From my perspective, it is always the right feel. It is not too soft, it's not too light. On the other hand, you can start with that is interior sound. I will be quiet for a moment now that you can realize how the sound is once you're driving at normal town speeds. You can already hear that in the deep RPMs it has a very, very deep rumble like this. And once you're going to higher RPMs, it will be also very sporty. We will not be able to do this right now, but maybe get a glimpse here. That sounds a bit like a 6-cylinder diesel, yes, which is not a bad thing. But on the other hand, also it sounds very, let's say, V8 rumble-ish, not too artificial, and a lot better than what the B-Turbo TDI of the previous generation had. I mean, we talked about that some people say it would rather be an A6 competition than an S6 TDI. I can agree with those people who are saying it is something from a concept perspective very similar to the former A6 competition, but I would say it's more than that. I mean, it looks better from my perspective. The sound is a lot better. We had the competition version and tested it before. The sound in the competition version was not as good as we have it right here. The power delivery is a lot better. We have more punch and more, let's say, power also in the high revs than the competition had before. Of course, it's not a V8, clearly talking about that, but on the other hand also there's plenty of power there. Let's talk about the engine and the power delivery, probably something that most of you are interested in. Once you drive the car at first, you might be a bit disappointed, and that's also the reason because the power delivery is not what you expect from this electric assisted supercharger or turbocharger. It's compressing the air prior to the turbocharger, and that should lead to a fact that you have a lot of instant torque. A car that has this character is the SQ7 and SQ8 with the V8 TDI. This car, and is similar also to the S4 TDI and S5 TDI, doesn't have this character, which seems to be a bit disappointing at first, because this car is more or less a traditional turbocharged car. You need to get up to 2,500 RPMs really to get full punch, which is a bit, let's say, disappointing at first, but once you know that, you can use that power a lot. And honestly, I would say there's a lot of fun driving this engine once you know that you just can leave your foot on the throttle, you don't have to go for the full kick down, and after half a second or so it gives you the full punch of the 700 Newton meters. And honestly, once those 700 Newton meters are kicking in, and as said, if you know where they are, you can make them kick in very, very often. It is a very sporty and specifically very fast car. Let's give you a short glimpse at the power delivery here once you're getting out of town. Engine is in normal mode, so we don't have the dynamic mode, so you can really experience how it behaves in real life. 6th gear right now. 4th gear, 2000, and that was 120, so that is really, really fast. It wasn't even full power, I would say. There's some more in it. Let's try that again. Let's lock it in 5th gear here. That's around 2000 RPMs. Or actually put it in 6th gear, lock it in 6th gear. We have 1500 RPMs. It's not coming yet. 1800, now it starts to come. 2000, great pull. 2500, now it really pulls. It really pulls. And that is something really cool that you can use a lot in your everyday life, because you know that the power is coming. You just have to keep your foot on that accelerator for a few seconds and you get that extreme punch. Overtaking and passing cars on the country road is super easy because the car gets into motion very quickly. I would even say once the torque is in, it is almost as powerful as something like an RS6 previous generation in that certain rev range. Of course, you don't have the power via that full power band, but still it's very nice. Also from a sound perspective, as said, once you use that power and you have this surge of power and the engine delivers the full torque, there's also a very nice and very matching sound coming towards it. Not only from the inside, because sound generator in the inside or the speakers assisted, but specifically also from the rear. And honestly, after the first 2 hours, you would say, oh, maybe this is not the sporty car that I've expected. After 1 week and 1,000 kilometers, after understanding this character of this car, and not talking about fake exhaust and talking about, oh, it's a diesel all the time, but really understanding the character of this car, you get the feeling that is for us the exact car that we needed, in addition to something like a very sporty Audi R8 and a very sporty TTRS. And of course, as we have more team members, also the A8 is not always available, and that's the reason why this car fits very well. We're looking forward to the next 12 months with this car. It is a normal leasing, it's nothing with VIP from Audi. I have to mention that the car is not sponsored. We have to purchase it or lease it with our own money. There are some good leasing rates in it for those cars, so maybe check out your Audi dealers that might also get good rates for S4 TDI and S6 TDI. I can only talk maybe for Germany, but that is of course at least the case in our part here. Actually talking about the cost of this car, coming to a question that many of you have asked, why haven't you taken an RS6? I mean, first of all, our budget is not endless, and secondly, you have to compare the costs of such a car with the costs of an RS6. I can only tell you that this car, although it costs, I think, over 110,000 euros list price, if you take the overall cost per month, or if you break it down on a kilometer, whatever, it's more or less exact half of the costs that you would do for this car compared to an RS6 or something in that league. And that is not only due to the fact that the RS6 is more expensive and the leasing rates are up, but also that the leasing factor for this car is better. The yeah, of course, consumption is a lot better. The insurance and everything else is cheaper, and that really adds up to half of the costs. And if you consider that item, I think all debates about does it sound as good as a V8 that we had before, or could it be faster, could it be louder, are from my perspective gone, because the in that price range is one of the best cars that you can currently get. And I don't regret the decision to going for this, let's say, lighter S version, maybe in that case, any day. Yeah, so with that, we will continue the drive. We will keep you posted also within the next days on Instagram and Facebook. Also stay tuned for some more stuff coming next weekend, because we are likely going to Sweden and will be driving an RS Q3 if everything turns out right. If you don't see that video, it didn't work, but I guess we will make that trip happen. So yeah, stay tuned to get the first updates on Instagram, and also yeah, by mid of February there will be a video following of that trip here on YouTube as well. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, I know everybody's saying that, but if you don't want to miss out all the cool content that we're doing here, and if you don't want to miss out the acceleration runs, which will be coming a lot more once the weather is getting better, and don't want to miss out on the newest cars, make sure to subscribe and also turn on those notifications, and that's the easiest way that you always see when we upload a new video, and that you can watch it right away at around lunchtime, in the morning, or whenever you find it. Okay, so with that, have a nice day and enjoy the rest of this weekend.